You're watching the Original Music Podcast with your hosts Raymond Hems and Rick Gathman.
Welcome to the Original Music Podcast. This is episode 26. Tonight we have Sweet Soul Sister, a band I know very well because I've been with them for a few years. Thank you guys for coming on tonight. How are you guys doing?
Doing great. Thanks for having us, Ray.
Thank you, Ray.
Hey, buddy. We got Mike Bielenberg and Dominique Britton. We've been together. How long would you say that you and I have been doing the Sweet Soul Sister thing?
6 years with you, I think.
Yeah, 6 or 7 years.
Yeah,
6 or 7.
2014.
Oh, 7. Wow.
Yeah.
It was late 2014.
Yeah, well, we lost a year in there or two.
Yes, we did.
Yeah, we lost some time. You lose time with these things.
Time.
Yes.
I just wanted to have you guys on because I wanted to showcase some of the songs that we've done over the years, and I've always, and I don't know if I've ever told you guys this, but I've always enjoyed playing with you guys because it's always been kind of outside of my comfort zone in a sense. It's not hard rock, it's not blues, it's it's kind of a mixture of all genres. What would you call the style of our music?
Oh, I think our stock answer to that question is pop.
But I don't want it to be.
Yeah, we should probably.
But that's how it comes out.
This would probably this is a good time to workshop that actually. Let's maybe that's yeah.
It's pop with flavors of jazz.
Yeah.
Urban spoken word, R&B-ish. It's kind of ethereal. Some ethereal moments are happening here and there, like groove, loungy.
Yeah.
I don't know. And then there's some rockin' stuff, like on Freedom. It's pretty rockin'.
Yeah.
It's just a mishmash. It's a mishmash.
It is a mishmash.
We are not pigeonholed. That is for sure.
Well, that's kind of where I was heading with that. Is the beautiful thing about what it is we do is whatever the hell we want to do.
Absolutely.
Right.
Songs can be 2 minutes. They can be 5.5 minutes or more. We don't. There's nothing. We don't.
There's no label guy.
Right.
Telling us not to do it.
Right. And that's kind of there's a beauty of being an independent artist. And that's because we can do whatever we want to do and write whatever we want to write about whatever we want to write about.
Right.
It
is what it is.
It is what it is.
Right.
The downside is we just don't have private jets and mink coats.
Right.
Oh yeah. We're watching Nashville for the second or third time right now, and it's just
the TV series
slaying me.
Yeah.
To think about, where we are as musicians versus where those people are, and where Taylor Swift last weekend,
right?
And the whole city was turned upside down because Taylor Swift was in town for 3 nights
in Atlanta,
and it's just different worlds, just different worlds.
But in that show, there's an evil label guy, and he's the bad guy, and he's like tyrannical, and he like has his thumb on all the artists, and he's like telling them to record stupid songs,
and they just want to be artists and play what they play, right? And
right.
And that's what we're doing.
Yeah,
that's what we do. We're not necessarily like doing festivals and big concerts or anything. But what's the most important thing is that we're doing what we love to do, and it's coming from a place of love. We're family.
Yeah, we're family. Yeah. I will definitely say that from day one, when I came over to a rehearsal and had no idea what we were going to play or anything, that there definitely was, family vibe, and it, I think it's, I did have some history with Mike prior to that, but the other part is that the drummer Carl is your cousin.
Carl Stovall.
Yeah, so Carl Stovall is your cousin, and then Drew Pounds, he's my cousin. So
he is.
He
is.
It just was a very welcoming group of people to be around, and and so it just was very easy to stick around and see what came out. And over the time, we've done multiple videos. We've written probably 2 records worth of original material.
Yeah.
You know, it's crazy that the amount of time that we put into it to write the songs and do videos and all this kind of stuff, and that we can't find a stage to even perform it on.
I know.
Right.
It's just, well, the music scene has just changed so much just in the last 5 years alone.
Yeah.
But I want to go back to what you were just saying, Ray, that, you know, when you came in, yes, it was like family, but there was also a chemistry with you as a guitar player on our songs that just felt so right. And then the progress that we have made with all the videos and
made a lot of videos,
you know, nurturing some of the songs that we had started, and then you came in, and then, you know, the birth of new songs after you came in. I mean, just like, you've been such a big part. So much of what we've created, so much of that content wouldn't have been possible had you not come in.
Well, I appreciate that for sure. I mean, I think it goes both ways. You know, it just was so very easy to literally just tune up and start playing something. Next thing you know, we have a song. It's like,
oh yeah,
is it supposed to be that easy?
Right, and it's still on Dropbox. We recorded that night. Yeah, you sounded amazing. I mean, I don't know if you go back and listen to that night, but man, you really, really did some great stuff. First time playing with the band, it was really great. And you know, I mean, you kind of peaked, because after that,
really,
I mean, it was
what happened.
It was great spending time with you. Of course, you're a cool dude, but you know, boy, you're playing that night. Yeah, really, just that night.
It is interesting that when you get put into situations where, as a musician, you have no idea what it is you're going to play, what the songs are going to be. And that's also the beautiful thing about, you know, for the most part, we have always been, you know, creating original music. We'll throw in some covers here and there, but, you know, there's nothing, we're not playing Barracuda that I've heard a million times, that I have a reference in my brain how the song goes. We're just,
it's original music.
Yeah, seat of your pants, ready to go. And it's interesting, leading up to the show tonight, I was just looking through the vault and like, what is this song? What is this song? And there was a song that we did called Titus. That's in the box, and it's a haunting. I remember writing the riff at Lake Titus, and I brought it back as soon as I got back from vacation, and we had a rehearsal, and I threw it down. Next thing you know, we're writing a song. We definitely should revisit that one.
I agree. But what I love about when we get together and rehearse is, before we actually start the actual rehearsal, we always loosen up with just jamming.
Yeah.
And every time we do that, there's a song in there.
Yeah.
I mean, if we recorded every single warm up 15 minutes before we actually start rehearsing, there would be a song in there.
Yeah. And the beautiful thing is, most of the time we have.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. But I mean, who's to say that we couldn't get a gig just as an improv, like Fish? You know, we could just get up there and just
listen. I think I think there's a jam band inside of us for sure.
Yeah. Well, songs like Fragile Town, that just came. Fragile Town, I think, is one of those songs that came out just like that. You know, it just happened, and it was 12-minute long song. That the lineup is pretty cool, because Mike, you know, you're playing on keyboards, but you're not just playing pads and this. You can shred and improvise, and I can play guitar and I can improvise, and then we hand off to each other. Hey, you take one, you know, and we actually write, you know, melody lines that are harmonized. And,
I love doing that with you, man. That's a sweet spot in Sweet Soul Sister, to be sure. Yeah, those, when you and I harmonize on little parts like that, and we know when they're coming up. Oh, it's the juice.
Yeah, signature lines, signature parts, that we have to remember every time we have a rehearsal.
Right.
Like, how did it go?
Yeah. Give us a second, guys, while we remember what this thing is.
Yeah. Well,
I think we work well together for the most part. I mean,
We do.
you used to really get on my nerves, Ray.
Right.
Clearly.
When
And
you first joined the
you
band.
still get on mine.
I,
Absolutely.
I get on a lot of people's nerves.
Yeah.
It's
But I've come to love that nerve.
it's
Oh, I
aw.
see what you did there.
Don't.
I've nurtured it, and I'm good now. And I love you very much.
Yeah, I love you guys too, and it's not to be an all love fest, but there were some times with life and getting in the way and stuff.
Yeah.
I'm like, man, I don't know. I overload myself with bands and music projects.
I don't know how you do it.
No.
And there were times I'm like, man, I don't know if I can go in there. I got a rehearsal. And then as soon as I get there and show up and start playing, I'm like, man, I'm so glad that I got this off my chest today. Whatever was tweaking me comes out first song.
Yeah, and when you're with us, you're home. Okay,
Right.
just
Yeah.
remember that.
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
yeah.
You got nothing to prove with us, Ray. Just be you. Just do you.
That's typically what I've always done. So going down the rabbit hole of I've never asked you guys, how you got started playing music, and what inspired you as a kid, or whenever you started playing music or singing. What brought you to this place of now you have no choice, you have to do it. Dom, let's start with you.
Okay.
What got you into singing and you play piano some and
Yeah.
musical. What started it?
Okay, well, my grandmother played at the church, played piano, and was on the radio. She was on some radio show. I don't remember she played with Joe South. Do you remember him?
Mm-mm.
He was a country recording artist.
Was this
back
Atlanta?
in the 60s, 70s. Mm-hmm.
Okay, so you're an Atlanta girl.
Yeah.
I am. I'm a native Atlantan.
Wow.
So my grandmother, always played in the church, and I was exposed to that. And then I used to sing in the choir here and there at her church, and she taught me some of the hymns, and I just fell in love with some of them. And then my mom, my bio mom, who passed away when I was 15, up until when she got sick when I was like 10, she played piano around the house a lot, and then my dad played a little bit too, so that led to me taking piano lessons. And then I didn't really sing that much in my pre-adolescent years, but then when I got into high school, I joined chorus, and I was in theater, and so I was pretty active in high school in music. And then it just, I guess, and then it got really quiet for a minute.
Well,
and
you did some modeling and stuff at that era, didn't you?
I did a lot of modeling and stuff like that in my 20s and 30s. And then in my late 20s and early 30s, I joined these little bands that would go on the road and do cover gigs. And I was in like 3 different bands. And I just was kind of faking it as a singer. I took some voice lessons here and there, but I wasn't really serious about it. And then I got serious about it like in my mid to late 30s.
Yeah.
And then my prior husband was a musician and very prolific songwriter. And that's when I really got into singing a lot. And we showcased for Clive Davis, and just did a lot of really cool sort of country rock stuff. And then it got quiet again. And then I met this one, and my cousin Carl, who you just mentioned, the drummer, he said, let's start a band. So we did. And I guess, I'm telling you all this. I'm not really classically trained or anything. I wish that I have so many regrets now. So to all of you young ones who are listening to this podcast,
listen up.
If you have even the least bit of, even of a smidge of a desire to be musical, just listen to that and really just focus on it, and, do your work, practice, develop your skill, go for it. I wish I had done that, because, not having those chops and not having that skill set makes it really difficult for me when I'm on stage as a singer. It doesn't come easy for me. I have to work really hard at being a good singer.
Yeah.
And no, I'm not trying to be down on myself or anything, but Yeah, I was exposed a lot and I was exposed enough, but I'm one of those people. I'm a jack of all trades, master of none. I'm very easily distracted.
Yeah.
I never wanted to just give up everything and
Yeah.
focus on that one thing.
Yeah.
And a lot of people that do, they're really so superior and excellent at that one thing, but they have no social skills. They have no
Yeah.
other skills
Yeah.
because
It's
they
got
just
to
did
be a
that one
mix.
thing their whole life.
Yeah.
And I just didn't want to be that. I wanted to be good at everything. I was very competitive and I wanted to be good at everything. I wanted to be a dancer and a model and an actress and a singer and a athlete. And, I wanted to do it all.
Well, you
If I
say
could go
something.
back, I would have focused on the music and dance and I
Yeah.
would have pursued Broadway, but
Well,
too late now.
You say something interesting there about being very competitive. Um, I kind of feel like in order to do this thing, you have to have the competitive kind of side of you to drive you to get better, to get better, to get better, to get better. Not necessarily to be better than that person or that person or that
Right.
person, but competitive with yourself, an inner drive to be better than you were yesterday.
That's exactly what it was. So I was competitive with myself.
Yeah.
I wasn't competitive with other people. I don't like competing with other people. I'm not comfortable with that.
I do.
But I wanted to, I know you do.
No.
But I was always up for the challenge of learning something new and pursuing it and, like being able to just say, I did that.
Yeah.
And, but I regret not having more focus on
Yeah.
that one thing that I could have been really great at.
Yeah.
You know,
At the same
So-
time, if you would have done that, you might have been, like you said, uber focusedly good on this aspect, but this aspect wouldn't have been. Mike and I a lot of times go back and forth on being a theorist of music and knowing theory and all this stuff. And
Yeah.
I strived many times to put something out there that, like, well, it sounds good to me. Does this make sense?
Right.
And it's like, in theory, no, that's not smart at all. That's terrible.
Right.
Right.
Right. That's my biggest struggle too, and that's why I feel like as a writer, I can't do it without him.
Yeah.
It wasn't until I met him, Mike,
Yeah.
that I was able to actually write complete songs because I needed his guidance and his help with the theory.
Yeah.
And I mean, I can write a good haiku, but
Yeah.
But your instincts,
Yeah.
it's in my opinion, your biggest asset are your instincts.
Yeah.
I mean, we've had many times writing a song together where, I mean, I was able to like crank out something that was structurally correct from a textbook point of view, but it was kind of soulless.
Yeah.
And you were the one that would sort of point out the obvious and say that, okay, well, we got something, but it needs a little bit of soul.
Yeah.
And I don't know. I don't really have as much of an intuition for that as you do.
Yeah.
And
Well,
so
could that be?
We've had that conversation.
Yeah. Could that be from over theoried?
Totally.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like,
It's there's something in the brain that's, where if you go, okay, I've learned how it kind of works and I know how the mechanics of it go, which is fine. But then the dangerous step is when your brain says, or my brain says, okay, well, I think I've got this figured out now. I think, I got it. But then what happens is you'll hear some band, and I can point to, periods where you hear an artist and you go, oh my gosh, they broke all my rules, but it sounds amazing. And then you have to go for a walk.
Yeah.
Right. And rethink everything you knew.
I can think of one instance right off the bat. I believe the beginning of a song called Gratitude.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, yeah.
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 The beginning of I don't remember even how it goes, but I remember playing it and going, yeah. And you were like, why would you do that? I was like, why wouldn't I? That sounds
wrong.
Sounds cool to me.
My theory professor would be so mad at you right now.
Yeah. And those are the people that I want to make mad.
Yeah.
You know?
Well done. You did it.
So that's the kind of thing. So Mike, were you always a keyboardist, or how did you? Oh, real quick before I go on to Mike, I like to always ask this after that last question. What was the first record, Dom, that you bought with your own money when you were a child, and started having the craving for music. What was the first record you bought?
Oh, this is going to be good.
Okay, so specifically that made me want to have a craving for music or a craving for other things.
Well, whatever that you bought with your own money. You worked and you were like, I need that album.
As a child?
Yeah,
As
or
a
that you
young,
asked for from your parents. Will you buy me this 45?
I mean, it was the Leif Garrett, the Donny Osmond,
Yes.
the Sean Cassidy, but
Yes.
it wasn't that those
so
albums
dreamy.
didn't inspire me to make music, want to make music. They inspired me to want to do other
Yeah,
things.
right on.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
But I'm trying to think, yeah, and I don't mean to be inappropriate or crude or anything, but
They inspired you to start wearing makeup. And,
yeah, maybe a little bit.
Right.
Okay.
Just getting a new order.
But Marie Osmond.
Yeah. On the other hand.
Now, yeah, I had a couple of her albums. Oh, but wait. No, okay. So this was not an album that I bought, but this was an album that my mom listened to all through my childhood. And it was Barbra Streisand live at the Met, I think.
Oh.
And I learned that entire album, even the part where she came out on stage and talked about, if I had known there was so many people in here, I would have had my nose fixed. I mean,
Right.
I knew everything.
What a great
I knew
line.
every little thing about that performance that she did, and every word to every song. That her voice and that album. I don't know the name of the album, but it was live, and I think it was back in the 70s. I just felt something when I heard her sing that I had never felt before.
She was a legit superstar artist. She found her way into my house. I had 3 sisters living in the house, and I heard more Barbra Streisand than I ever cared to hear, but it was good. I had the original Star is Born with Chris Christopherson album on repeat in my house.
Oh, yeah.
And it was good.
Crippled Crow.
Yeah. Crippled Crow, yeah. I think I remember that one.
Yeah.
Yeah, we watched the Barbra Streisand Star is Born a few years ago, and you sat on the couch. She sang
everything.
Every word to every song.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, the whole album.
Well, that brings me to something that happened to me, and finally, there's a podcast kind of where like I can talk about us, our time together, and that kind of thing. But there was something that happened to me in rehearsal yesterday with Hope's Anchor. I was playing songs I haven't played literally in 2-3 years, and I was playing it. And I was like, okay, I don't remember how to play this. The click comes in, click, 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 click. All of a sudden, my body just started playing the song. And I'm like, I don't
muscle memory.
Yeah, your brain, the recall of the human brain is amazing to be able to bring back stuff from. We won't say how many years ago that Barbra Streisand's Star is Born came out, but a couple of years ago, and you remember the lyrics without even pulling them up on your phone.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right.
Well, there are some songs where I do that. Others have kind of gotten lost because my brain is not what my brain used to be. But there are certain songs that I can just recall all the lyrics and that album, I could probably sing every word to every song on that album, A Star is Born.
Yeah.
That's
cool.
much.
That's really cool.
It just was such a big part of my life.
Yeah, especially when you're growing up and your brain's forming, I think it really gets deep in the RAM.
It really does.
Yeah,
it gets way deep in there.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. I wish my brain was still as malleable as it was back then.
Yeah.
Now a lot of it just bounces right out. It just doesn't.
Well, you just take it and you shake it really good,
right?
Like that.
Is that it? Is that what you do?
It's a little mushy. It's a little mushy in there.
I didn't put a hot towel on it or something.
So we talked about Dom. You are an original Atlantan, in your background. Mikey, you are a Midwestern boy.
No, I grew up in Stuart, Florida.
That's right. Yeah.
Yeah. My parents are from the Midwest.
Yes.
But I was born and raised in South Florida, in Stuart, Florida.
Gotcha. And we talked about that we probably grew up 20 miles apart from each other in South Florida back in the day, and our birthdays are one day apart. and we have yet to spend a proper birthday together.
Dude,
we have to plan a proper.
I know.
Well, there's still time this year.
Yeah, there is.
Yeah,
we need to do that. But when did you first was keyboards your first instrument, or how did this happen for you?
No, I sang in church. I sang in like the kids choir, but it was a really good kids choir. Like it was strong. It was the pastor of the church. It was kind of his baby, and he stacked the deck of it with his own kids who all had great voices. And so there were just like 7 of us.
Right.
And we killed. We were really good. That's kind of like my earliest memory of making music and, church, right? Yeah. You're going through the motions of learning the song and getting up and performing, and the music was devastatingly beautiful.
Yeah. Now, was that properly done like it was in back in the Lutheran church that I grew up in, where you actually have the hymnal that has the melody and the notes? Were you reading notes?
We were reading notes. Yeah. Wait, you were raised Lutheran too?
Yes, I'm telling you, we're the same dude.
Oh my gosh, we should really spend more time together.
I know, right? Or actually have a conversation.
Dude, I had no idea.
Right. But so you were
Lutherans know how to do music, man.
Yeah, you were actually reading the melodies on sight reading.
I mean, yeah, but we were well rehearsed. I mean, it was like an after school every day thing, and plus the school was at the church, so you would just head there after class. And then but piano happened when I was 11. There were 3 of us kids. I was the youngest. My mom had always wanted to have a piano, and when she finally bought one, you know how it is. One of the kids is going to get stuck with lessons, and I was the baby, so guess what? I got stuck with the lessons.
Yeah.
And I really liked it. I think there has always been something in me that has been very, very sensitive to chord changes in music.
Yeah.
Like I can still remember who did Glenn Campbell sing, like a rhinestone cowboy. Yeah. And there's that little descending line. Da, 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 da. And the chords, like there's a little descending line in there. And I still remember being a kid and I would just be hypnotized by that stuff. And it was the chords in particular.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The way chords fit together. And then in parallel to that, there was always a part of me that felt really, really compelled to like understand what was going on. Like, what are those notes? Like, how do those fit together? What's the math?
Right.
And that's I still lose sleep over like, wait a minute, what chord is they going to there?
Yeah. Well, I mean, that's the yin and yang that you and I have always had is, I'll write a riff that sounds pretty cool, and I'll have one chord change, but I'm like, scratch my head. Where should we go? We should go here. Glug, 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 glug. And it was always interesting writing songs with you because you would come up with a kind of a complex thing, and I'm like, great idea. I can't play that. Can we make it easier? Like maybe just go glug, glug, glug instead of doing 6 changes. Can we just do 3?
Right. Which is a good compromise.
Right.
I mean, I don't know that necessarily being obsessed with chord changes is really a good thing.
Right.
It has not always served me well. I remember I used to produce and write jingles and stuff, and man, I quickly figured out that like the general listening public, they're not as sensitive to it as I am, and so I would compose these pieces that I thought were great, like, oh, listen to the way it goes to that chord, and then it has the little note, and then whoever I guess had paid me to write the song would be like, well, that's a really boring song you wrote there. Where's the beat?
Yeah.
Where's the melody? Like, where's this? It sounds like so yeah, it's a good and bad thing.
Yeah. Well, and then you say something there that's important. In a day where, excuse me, the attention span is a 35-second TikTok, and a hit pop song is 2 chords. It used to be 3 chords in The Truth, 4 chords if you're the Eagles, and now we're down to 2 chords, and it's
in a beat.
Yeah, it's
Mm-hmm.
kind
Yeah.
of gotten to the point where the intricacy of music is over the heads of 90%, unless they're musicians looking for something. Oh, please give me another chord change.
Right.
So we met a musician a couple of weeks ago on a gig that Mike did for a friend's retirement party, and this musician is using Chat GPT to write songs.
Yeah, I have done the same thing. That's going to be one episode on the
Oh,
podcast. Um,
Wow.
so I asked Chat GPT, write me a rock song in A minor,
Yeah.
and it wrote out a chord progression, lyrics, verse, pre-chorus, chorus, bridge, blah blah blah. Then I
Wow.
asked it, all right, write me a rock song in A major, and literally the lyrics go from dark and rainy days to it's a sunny day out, and it recognized the difference between A minor and A major as being, happy.
sad or
Yeah,
Yeah.
happy.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
And so, and
Crazy.
I'll need your help on this,
Scary.
Mike. One of the things I would like to do on the podcast is take those two different songs and on camera write them,
Yeah.
Oh,
perform
okay.
them, and
Okay.
record
Oh.
us doing it. Um,
Okay.
and
Right.
as
We'll
just
we'll perform songs written by Chat GPT.
yes,
That'd be
Okay.
cool. All
yeah.
right.
So that's kind of one of the things on my bucket of things to do
It's a
musically.
deep bucket.
Yeah, that it is crazy. AI is going there, but until AI can teach power skating on the ice or actually play that Hammond that's sitting right there.
Right.
By the way, you sounded brilliant on that last time you were here.
Dude, that was so much fun.
Yeah, that
Oh.
that has to happen like every time.
Yeah. Your
Um,
dad's Hammond
yeah.
C3.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh,
Uh,
so cool.
Beautiful.
But yeah, it's interesting that where we're headed. You know, we are all over 21.
Yeah.
What?
And
I know.
and the things that we've already
Don't remind
seen
me.
in our lives as far as technology goes, and I mean, heck, we literally are on a Jetsons call.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I know.
Jetson, you're fired.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
Spacely Sprockets just fired somebody on my
Yeah.
video wall right here.
Yeah.
But the things that we've seen, it's mind blowing. We could have a long conversation on what's 75 years from now going to look like musically.
Oh God, I'm scared. I don't think I want to know.
Yeah,
I don't think I want to know. I mean,
Yeah.
I appreciate the technology, and I appreciate the fact that I can go into GarageBand if I have an idea, pull up a beat or build a beat, throw some instrumentation on there, and I have the makings of a good song,
Yeah.
at my fingertips.
Yeah.
Or at least the beginning or the start of it. But there is nothing like the sound of an acoustic guitar and a
Mhm.
piano and just that live. And again, I will bring up this show Nashville that we're watching.
Yeah.
It's just all organic.
Yeah.
It's all organic. And the songwriting process too. It's not, I mean, the way that I am inspired to write is to pull up a beat and get some instrumentation going and get a groove. And once I feel a groove, then the lyrics start to come. But I want to try to write differently. I want to write lyrics first and then have Mike put something together to match, to walk up to my lyrics and say,
Yeah.
"Hey, how you doing?
Yeah.
You
Do
want
you
to make a baby?"
do you always write like that? Do you always want to do lyrics first? We've never actually even talked about
No,
this.
I don't, because it's hard for me. I have to feel I am moved by the sound.
Yeah.
And the groove and the feeling of the instrumentation. That's what inspires things to come out of me. I am not like a poet who can just think about, my life and the tragedies of my life and the loves of my life and the things that I feel in my heart that make me want to spew onto a piece of paper. I'm
Yeah.
not that person.
Right.
I'm not that kind of writer. And I've tried to do the morning pages thing with Mike. He's really good at it. And I don't know. I guess I just need to do it more.
Yeah. Well, I can't tell you how many times, and I've done it with Swift. I've done it with anybody that's always been my singer in my band. It's almost kind of a thing I do. Like where I'll tune up and then I'll just start playing whatever is on the top of my head, and I've never played it before. But if I can get the lead singer to start dropping a shoulder and wiggling,
Dropping
yeah,
yeah.
like
Yeah.
I can see Swift doing that. He
yeah,
can do that.
well, she did it.
Yeah.
We did it on Titus, I think, and we did it on a song "I'm on Fire," where in that
Yeah.
song, it really became like it for a rough draft take. That track was like, oh my! That's when I knew, okay, I'm gonna hang with these people to the end.
And you put a video to that
Yeah,
too, didn't you?
I did. Yeah. And because I was that,
You were inspired.
I was so inspired by,
Yeah.
oh my God, I didn't even know what I was playing.
I remember that one.
And it was just magic that came out. And that's the chemistry that keeps people like us together
It's
playing.
good. It's the good stuff.
Yeah.
It is. That's the good stuff.
Yeah.
It really
So
is.
so Mikey, your first record that you spent money or had to have, that you asked your parents and said that you would clean up all the dog poo in the neighborhood if they would buy it for you. I can tell you mine. There were actually two.
Barry Manilow's greatest hits.
No.
Are you being sarcastic?
What? Don't judge me. Those are some great songs. Have you heard the chord changes?
Yes,
Yeah,
the chord
they're-
changes.
Yeah.
Barry Manilow, that all
Yeah,
great chord
not
changes.
gonna lie.
Barry
can't,
Manilow's greatest hits. So
well,
good.
you can't deny. You can't deny a guy's career. Did you know he wrote the Dr. Pepper jingle?
Exactly.
Mhm.
Right. I mean,
Exactly.
so
Oh, so
uh,
good.
he's a pepper, she's a pepper, they're a
Yep.
pepper.
Would you?
He was the original pronoun guy.
Right.
Wouldn't you
Yes.
like to be a pepper too?
Yes.
Maybe everybody should just be peppers, and there won't be any of this issue.
I mean, I'd like to be a pepper.
Yes,
I'm a pepper.
you're definitely a pepper.
Are you a pepper?
I am a pepper.
Would you like to be a pepper?
I'd like to
I
be a
already am
pepper too.
pepper.
So good. Yeah. Barry Manilow's greatest hits. That's my answer.
Wow.
So good.
Wow.
Yeah, yeah.
The full record.
Yeah. Now, the other, the whole, it was a double album. He had that many hits.
Yes, he did.
And then there was a point, I'm going to answer a slightly different version of the question, but when I first joined the Army and I actually had my own, like my first paycheck, and CDs had just come out, like they had just become a thing, I went and bought a couple of classical CDs, and I got the Stravinsky's Firebird Suite. So that's more like my fancy answer.
Yeah.
Because at that time I was getting obsessed with classic, like orchestral music.
Yeah.
Mhm.
So I bought Romeo and Juliet, the overture by Tchaikovsky,
Mhm. That's beautiful.
which is the one they play in all the movies.
Yeah.
Well, not all the movies, but yeah.
All the Notebook movies.
That's right.
Nicholas
then,
Sparks.
yeah, and then Stravinsky's Firebird Suite. Oh, and then Debussy, Prelude to a Faun.
Mm.
Oh, so and that's always been something that impressed me about you. I can listen to classical music, and my brain goes to, wow, they used a quill pen straight out of the goose's butt in an inkwell, and they scored all of these different instruments on this piece of paper on these different
Out of their head.
without even having hey, will you play this melody and you play this melody?
Yeah.
Will that work?
He does that.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. That is brilliant, and I can respect that, but it's over my second grade theory head. So
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, when we first started dating, I came across this tub of a stack this big, this thick, of these huge sheets of paper that, just music notes that he just thought of, wrote out, and hired musicians to play. It's just unfathomable.
Well, here's the argument for learning how to do it. And this is what I used to tell the piano students. The question was, and really any musician is, can you, when you play music or sing it, does it come out like perfect? Like
No.
perfect?
Not always.
Right. And most people say no. Like perfection is really hard. Usually and Ray, you can relate. You're struggling with your sounds, like, oh, I didn't get that note right. The answer is probably no, I'm not playing it right. But can you imagine perfect music? And most people say, oh, yes, I can.
Yeah.
So then if that is true, then that is an argument for getting your eliminating the middleman, so that there's no hands, there's no instrument, you don't have to turn on a piece of gear. It's literally coming out of your imagination.
Yeah, and, but how would you take you hear this whole thing, and you hear this part and this part, so you're saying the ability to be able to write this part on this piece of paper and then write this part on this piece of paper and know that it works? Or
Yep. Yeah. And so it's a combination of well, first of all, we all know, like, da da, that's a second, that's a major second, that's I don't have perfect pitch, but that's like, if you're looking at a piano, that's one white key to another, or like a C to a D.
I'd call that a half step on a guitar.
Okay. And so, those intervals, those intervals are very predictable. A major second sounds like a thing, da da, and then a major third, da da da, and then a perfect fourth, da da. And so I don't need an instrument to do that. I know what a C, F sounds like, and so I can just take a pencil and write C and an F, and then I don't need to go over to a piano to hear that. I know that that's a C, F, 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 and then.
So you didn't use a piano when you were writing these out?
No, because
to test the melody out.
No. But that's because a C, F, F, and again, I don't have perfect pitch. I don't know if I'm actually singing a C and F.
Who cares?
But C, F, and then you can go C, F, G, F.
Yeah.
Yeah. So like you can just do that stuff just with a simple learning intervals and what they sound like is a basis to start writing notes on a page.
Yeah.
Then that's writing horizontally, like what the melody is. Now the vertical part, like what the notes are that happen in the chords, that is again just a matter of like knowing your theory and having some experience and knowing like, oh, I generally know what it sounds like with that.
Okay.
But yeah,
that's interesting that you're saying. So you're saying writing horizontally is a thing, but then when you change to your clefs, that's gonna make everything different. So that's the vertically.
Oh, I'm sorry, I wasn't clear. So when I say vertically, so imagine you're John Williams and you're writing a score. Obviously he's not going to walk around and pick up a clarinet and be like, oh, that works, and then an oboe, and oh, that works, and a flute, and no, that works. He doesn't, can't. But what he does is he's looking at a huge score, and there's a staff for each of those instruments. And when I say vertically, like he says, okay, I'm going to have the flute go da 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 da. And then that sounds like the wedding march.
It is.
It does.
And then but then way down at the bottom, he knows that the basses, the string bass guys, he's like, oh, but I know that what will sound good, da da da, and then he'll be like, G, and he kind of knows what that'll sound like. And so when I say vertically, it's like looking at the score this way and looking at the chords, what they're all playing.
Gotcha.
Simultaneously with the da da da.
The stacked instruments is
stacked.
Yeah, the stacked instruments on what they're doing, and the horizontally is the melody.
Yeah. That's I should have said it that way.
I'm with you now. So the weekend that we just talked about, where I just went to the family
the thing in the fire. Yeah,
I found 3 or 4 more of these books.
I'm glad you kept some.
Yeah, that had handwritten notes from my dad and my mom, and they would write essentially the basic melody out of "Sweet Leilani Blue Hawaiian."
Aww.
And I don't know the song, but I'm sure it's amazing. But the Hawaiian war chant section goes like this, and he wrote a staff out and put the notes down.
Right.
And I would love to just go
Let's
through.
Play it.
Yeah, just go.
Send it over.
Let's play it.
Well,
email it
on Sunday.
Let's do it.
Sieste si bon. It's a French song, and it looks like it's in the first chord's a G major 7, but the melody's all right here.
Oh my gosh.
So I kept these.
Oh,
books.
So it has chord notation, like it's the melody, and then there's chords written above it.
There's no.
Kind of thing?
Well, yeah. There's chords written like it says G major 7, F7, B flat.
Oh yeah.
But there's no chord chart like a Mel Bay. I can't tell you how many Mel Bay books I burnt this weekend.
Gosh.
Yeah.
Because
that might be a good thing.
Mel Bay did not help me learn how to play guitar at all.
Yeah.
Uh,
Burn, Mel Bay.
But yeah, so I'd love to go through these books. These are handwritten notes. The Continental. It's got this. It's got the. It's interesting. You'll understand what this is. I kind of get it, but it looks like Greek to me. On the staff, there are flat notes by the bass clef.
Yeah.
Or the treble clef.
Yeah.
And I wouldn't know what that means, but
yeah.
But this will be fun.
But think about it though. That what's on that page is like think of it as like code, like computer code.
Well, it's just like what you were just talking about.
Yeah.
Right.
Well, flat notes aren't those rests?
No, that just means a note like gets moved down a half step.
Yeah, flattened.
Oh. Yeah.
Oh.
So, nice rabbit hole. Thank you for that.
Yeah, it's a rabbit hole.
Yeah.
It's a great hole.
Really
great hole.
There were three little records that I had. My sisters had their they had The Star Is Born. They had their things. It might have been a Barry Manilow in there. Jean-Pierre Rampal was one. That's a really good one. A flautist.
Mm-hmm.
Oh.
Yeah, flautist classical record that was not your traditional classical music. It was really good. But mine was, I had to have, as soon as I heard it, I had to have the 45 for Another Brick in the Wall. We know. When it came out, I heard it on the radio. I was like, I just want that record.
That hook, man. We don't need no.
Yeah, that album blew my mind wide open.
Yep.
Well, this was a 45. Remember 45s? You could go get them. So those of you don't know, a 45 would have the hit single or the release, and then it would always have a B-side.
B-side.
And I found sometimes more glory on the B-sides of 45s than the hit, because they're releasing the song as kind of like, oh, this is our release, let's go, and then the B-side was always kind of a trash can song. It wasn't intended to do anything, but
Bohemian Rhapsody was a B-side. Did you know that?
Way.
Yeah, the band really, really hustled hard. So I think the A-side was Fat Bottom Girls or something. I'm probably wrong about this, but it was like the song that the label was like, oh, this is the hit. This is the one we want to promote. Yeah. So the marketing was all about Fat Bottom Girls, but the B-side was Bohemian Rhapsody, which the band fought for.
Wow.
Isn't that cool?
Yeah, that is cool. What was really cool in the documentary that they just did with Queen, named Bohemian Rhapsody, was showing them making the song and just having fun, being operatic and crazy and carefree, and the record label going, huh?
Yeah.
I love stories like that where labels get proven wrong.
Yes.
It's the best.
Yeah, I really do.
It really, really is the best. Yeah. Artist, man.
What even is a label anymore?
Right.
Well, that's a whole nother story. But yeah, back in the day, the label was everything.
Yes, it was.
They controlled what you do.
Yeah.
They controlled they controlled the distribution.
They were a big brother.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's I mean, very much like this podcast right now. I'm actually broadcasting and recording in my own studio with nobody telling me what to do, talking about music and notation and Fat Bottom Girls.
Right.
As long as we don't play it and get a copyright strike, we'll be fine.
Yeah.
But so my first one was We Don't Need No Education, Another Brick in the Wall. The second one, I believe, was Big Shot, Billy Joel.
Oh yeah.
Was that the Glass Houses? Was that from?
But the real gem was the B-side.
Oh, the B-side to
Big Shot?
Yeah.
Oh, what was it?
Ready?
Wait.
You ready?
Oh, wait. She's got away.
No. Billy Joel.
I don't care anymore.
It's not a hit. It's not a hit.
Right.
It's a B-side. And it was better, in my opinion, after listening to the Big Shot. And Big Shot was great. you go back and listen to this early Billy Joel, the guitar tones going on there, and it was aggressive piano music. And unlike where Elton John was a bit more, poppy, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Elton John has some guitar in there too as a guitar player. That's what I was looking for. But the B side of that was Root Beer Rag from Billy
Oh,
Joel,
What?
I'm not
and
familiar.
I
it is
had no idea.
it's a brilliant song.
Really?
And
Wow.
and the third record, before I got Kiss Alive 1, which changed my life forever.
So this is all pre-Kiss Alive.
Yes, this
Okay,
is
all
all
right.
pre-Kiss.
So like if we're looking at the timeline,
I'm 7, 8 years old,
Okay.
and I'm like, I want that record. I want, Fly Like an Eagle, the long version.
Oh, yeah.
Was when I heard all that stuff going on, that at 7, 8 years old blew my mind. I'm like, that's amazing.
Yeah.
And but my other one was, we had just seen a little movie called Star Wars, and
I haven't heard of it.
yeah, it was a hit kind of in the
Like
70s.
is it indie film?
Yeah, and I wanted I had a double record of the Star Wars soundtrack. This might actually explain a lot, and I'm kind of putting two and two
I
together.
didn't know this, dude.
Yeah, 2 and 2 together. My Star Wars record, and I got it just for the dun 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 dun. The Cantina song was so good. I asked my parents to get me that record, and I got it. And that actually makes a lot of sense with Giza right now, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Yes.
Are you having a breakthrough right now?
Yeah,
Are
I
you-
kind of am actually.
Yeah,
I'm like, I never put that together.
Do we need to take a type 5? Do you need to like collect yourself?
No, what I would like to do though is I would like to pull up Root Beer Rag for you.
Do it.
Do it.
But before I do that, I'm going to ask you a question and let you pontificate while I find the song.
Okay.
Before I came into Sweet Soul Sister, and I know you got to go soon, Dom. Before I came into Sweet Soul Sister, how long had it been together, and what was the, other than Carl saying, "Let's put a band together"? What was
That's good, Carl?
what was the what was the impetus of that?
Well, I had gone through a divorce, and my cousin Carl, I think he used to play in a couple of bands back in the 80s that I think were kind of semi-famous, and he was wanting to get back into it. So, and he was kind of sort of part of a music project that I was involved with long before I met Mike. But anyway, so when he found out that I was just kind of trying to figure out what to do with my life and going through a divorce, he's like, "Why don't we start a band?"
Oh.
So so we did, and we were just doing covers. And then so I guess it was about a year that we were together doing covers, and we had another guitar player, and his wife, the guitar player's wife, came in as a backup singer, and she was great. She was like Mike. She had theory under her belt, and she was very organized, and she would figure out everybody's parts and highlight, have printed out sheets and highlight. So we had these very well organized rehearsals, and we had several gigs lined up playing cover songs. And the one gig in particular, the type of music that they wanted warranted piano. A lot of the type of music that we needed to bring to this gig warranted a piano player. So I put an ad on Craigslist looking for a piano player, and Mike showed up.
Wow.
And then he was looking for a music family.
Yeah.
And we were rehearsing in Alpharetta, and he lived in, was it Alpharetta at the time? So so he came in, and we were covering a Nick Acosta song. She's one of my favorite artists, and he just immediately fell in love with us because he loves Nick Acosta too.
Yeah.
And and we all just became really good friends. And then it wasn't until, when did we start writing original stuff?
I think that was
didn't happen.
When somebody quit highlighting and telling you what to play.
Yeah. That's when,
That's when it happened.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Probably
Yep.
when
Pretty
I came in.
much. Pretty much.
Yeah.
Yeah. I was kind of writing stuff on my own and just here and there. And Mike came in and, we just started bringing this stuff to the band, these ideas to the band. And next thing you know,
Well,
and
that's
then
how
you showed up.
Yeah, that's how it should happen, kind of organically.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah, it was a very organic process.
Unfortunately, we've talked about it already a little bit, but 7 years ago or whatever, you had to make a decision whether or not you wanted to be an artist and play your own stuff, or if you wanted to play, corporate band material, be a corporate band player, or a yacht rock player, or a this or that or that.
Yeah.
And I don't do this for a living. I understand musicians that do that kind of thing because they have to make a living doing it. And I think that's the big difference between, the players. They're doing what they have to do to make the biggest dollar.
True.
And being in a Prince tribute band is going to pay you more than playing Crayons.
I think there's a lot of pressure, right, when a person is presenting themselves as a musician in a cover band or a tribute band, because the audience has an expectation.
Yeah, they know how the song goes.
But when you're an original artist, then
freedom.
Freedom.
Yeah.
But yeah, I've never really been comfortable playing cover gigs. Mike, he's great at it and he makes good money doing it, but I've just never have I felt comfortable being in cover bands ever.
It's a different set of muscles.
Yeah.
It really is.
Yeah.
I mean, the muscles that we use to make our music, I'm thinking of Freedom, our song, Freedom. I mean, that was just a process. That was a whole journey, right? That we started making that song in Texas and Austin.
Yeah.
Then finished it in Atlanta. Yeah. And recorded bits of it over at Devin's house. And then, it's a journey. It's a completely different set of muscles.
Yeah.
Then, we're gonna go perform this well-known song in front of an audience next week or tomorrow night or something like that. And I better learn those parts, Yeah. Completely different set of muscles.
Yeah. But in a way, the same set of muscles, because interesting enough, I was watching a podcast today with Joe Rogan, and they was talking about Arnell with Journey, and then back to back played the same song with Steve Perry with Journey live, and they were just talking about how amazing the guy was to sound like the other guy, and I was like, he was. But he didn't write the part.
That's right.
He didn't write the melody.
Yeah.
So, I mean, it is. You're playing something that's very familiar, but you're doing your best to replicate a Van Gogh.
Right.
I know.
You know,
it's a lot of pressure
instead of creating your own Van Gogh, and I think that's the biggest difference. The biggest difference between the original music artist and somebody doing covers, and that's the biggest thing. Unless you totally flip the script on a cover song and make it your own.
Yes.
Which is...
Who would do such a thing?
Who would do such a thing? I think that might actually be a good segue to...
okay.
I would like to play just a segment real quick. I found Root Beer Rag from Billy Joel.
Oh, yeah.
Go.
This had to be 74, 75, 6.
Yeah.
But listen to the piano playing. So put yourself in Billy Joel's career. You're talking about him as a starving artist getting his kind of first big kind of breaks. He's playing smoky venues and bars and playing with fire and ferocity.
Yeah.
And this is it. My 7-year-old self was more blown away by that than she had to be a big shot, did ya?
Yeah.
It was
yeah.
amazing.
There's like the virtuosity of it.
Yeah.
Yeah. That he's shredding on that thing.
That's your dad in you.
Yeah,
That's your
yeah.
dad.
The
Coming
fact,
out.
the fact that I kind of recognized that, like, whoa, what is that? Was crazy. But we were talking about taking a cover and making it your own, and I think that would be a proper time to bring up a little song that we did, and Mike, Mike, it was very delicate conversation. He says, "Hey, man, we'd really like to do this cover." I was like, "Oh, man," because he knows how I feel about playing other people's music. They played it already. How could we possibly make it better? Like Root Beer Rag. If you came to me and say, "Hey, let's play Root Beer Rag," I'm like, "Billy Joel already did it. It was awesome. Leave it alone. Let's go."
Can't be done better.
Yeah.
Right.
But you asked me to do a cover, and you said, "But we're gonna change it." I say, we're gonna make it different. We're gonna do our thing to it. All right, man. What do you got? And you started playing the song, and I don't want to name what the song is. Let's we'll play the song, and and it's just such a polar shift. If it was the Earth, we'd all be dead because of tsunamis and volcanoes, because it's so different. So anyway, let's play this song, and you guys know the story. So let's play the song, and we'll be right back.
Now everybody, have you heard? If you're in the game, then stroke's the word. Don't take no rhythm, don't take no style. Got a thirst for killing, grab your vial. Put your right hand out, give a firm handshake. Talk to me about that one big break. Spread your ear pollution both far and wide. Keep your contributions by your side and stroke me, stroke me. Could be a winner, boy, you move mighty well. Stroke me, stroke me. Stroke me, stroke me. You got your number down. Stroke me, stroke me. Say you're a winner, but babe, you're just a sinner now. Put your left foot out, keep it all in place. Work your way right into my face. First you try to bend me, you make my backbone slide. When you find you've bled me, slip on by and stroke me, stroke me. Give me the reason this is all night long. Stroke me, stroke me. Stroke me, stroke me. Get yourself together, boy. Stroke me, stroke me. Say you're a winner, but man, you're just a sinner now. You better listen now. I said it ain't no joke. Don't let your conscience tell you. Just do the stroke. Don't you take no chances. Keep your eye on top. Do your fancy dances. You just can't stop. You just stroke me, stroke me. Stroke, stroke me, stroke me. Stroke, stroke me, stroke me. Stroke, stroke me, stroke me. Do it. But man, you're just a sinner now.
So the arrangement now is obviously like a whole different thing from what it used to be, and that's how, if you're gonna do a cover, in my opinion, make it your own. That drastically different, you know.
Yeah.
And if you or just be a tribute band or play the cover for a wedding party and do that thing. But I don't know, man. That when you said let's do a cover, and it's like, oh, I don't know. And then you played a bass line. I was like, wait a minute, that doesn't sound anything like what I remember. Okay, continue. Where are we going? And
I'd like to continue that thought with some other songs.
Yeah,
cover songs.
I think we're onto something.
Yeah. Well, I threw one out at you over text the other night. I heard it and I was like, oh, that could be done really well. Don't say what it is. Remember when I sent it to you?
Oh, it's okay. I didn't read your text.
You never do. Mike Bielenberg is actually going on the record as the worst reader and replier of text messages. I kind of wonder, like, it's now become like a storyboard in my mind, what you could possibly be doing to not answer my text. Mm-hmm. I mean, I've gone from your helping homeless children with pancake breakfasts,
right,
to sewing torn knees and pants and patches, patching clothing for people, to you just don't care what I have to say. I mean, it goes the gamut. I don't know what's going on there.
I'm trying to hire dancers, man. I mean, it's just hard to wrangle them.
I think the answer is all three, Ray.
Yeah, yeah, I get it. I don't get it, but I get it.
No,
I've learned to live with it.
There's just honestly, man, there's just a lot of really great stuff on TV.
Okay, I mean that makes sense. Ted Lasso.
We haven't watched season 4 yet.
We would have to resubscribe to Apple TV, which we have subscribed and canceled 3 times already.
Only for Ted Lasso. I mean, I would.
Yeah, you're right.
I would get.
There's a lot of great stuff on Apple TV right now.
Yeah.
Anyway, I apologize for my phone dying. I didn't know that was going to happen. Let me do.
No, it's okay. We couldn't hear it anyway. On our end, all we hear is vocals. Like the compression is so tight. Or it just loves Dom's voice so much, understandable, that it's squashing everything else, and we can barely hear it. But we hear the vocals great. So your compressor has great taste in vocalists.
Yeah, I got to work that out because I don't understand why it's not coming through on your side there. But what I do have is a song called Crayons. Crayons is not a cover song. Crayons was not, hey, man, you guys want to revamp something? Crayons was, Ray, we need a riff. I was like, okay.
I don't remember.
I totally remember this.
Yeah, you go. Yeah. You tell.
I totally remember this. I got an idea for this song. I need a riff. And I don't know why I played it in the drop C guitar. I'm playing it on my heaviest of heavy guitars. Although it's not a heavy song, I don't know why it ended up.
I think probably what happened is I said, "Hey Ray, the first thing we're going to work on in this rehearsal is something soft and sensitive and jazz-like. So could you please dial up some of those sounds?" And then of course he plays da 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 da. Yeah. And then I still remember you looking at me with that little grin on your face, like we're going to play what I want to play. Yeah. And
so that riff was an actual jab?
No, the riff.
He was very passive aggressive on his part.
No, the riff was literally. He said, "Man, we need a riff, and it needs to be kind of a signature, riff of the tune." And I was like, "Okay, how about this?" And I just started playing it, literally off from the spherical beams of light from the moon, because it was at night. It just came to me. I don't. That's the beautiful thing about when I play in music is I don't know where this stuff come from. It just happens. We need something like this. Okay. And those always feel like gifts.
The most genuine. Yeah, that's the most genuine way to make music, because it's not premeditated. It's just coming from an altruistic, innate raw place.
It's what's been given to you at that moment when
you're but a vessel.
Yeah, I literally was a vessel. You said
a butt vessels.
A butter vessel?
Butt vessels. We are butt vessels.
We are butt vessels. B-U-T, not 2 T's. So I gave the riff, and then it was said, we need to go to reggae. I'm like, huh?
Right.
Reggae?
Right.
Oh, yeah. Okay. How do we?
I think it was your idea.
That was my idea.
It was.
Sorry.
How and why? Okay.
She just does these things.
And it just kept kind of building and building and building creatively into looks like a 4-minute and 25-second masterpiece. Do you have any other background on the song before we play it?
I don't think I've ever told you this before, but when I was trying to like figure out like writing the vocal parts for the chorus, I wanted a song because we had never written a song where I could belt. So of course it's all about me.
Yes, clearly.
Yeah. And so I was like, well, I'm not singing lead on the song, obviously, but I want to make sure that when the chorus hits, that Mikey's screaming, Mikey's
Yeah.
belting. So I feel like is this a good time to confess that to you, that I kind of wrote the vocal parts for me?
I'm hearing this for the first time.
Yeah.
But I'm trying to remember how the lyrics were born. Was it a byproduct of the morning pages that you do, and we just extrapolated?
Okay, so
From
that,
your
that's
6
that's
pages?
twice.
I think
I gotta stop the conversation. That's 2 times, 2 that you guys have. Well, Dom, you've brought up the morning pages.
Yeah.
Right.
The morning pages. Mike's never disclosed this to me, so tell me about
Okay.
what this is, and should
Okay,
I
yeah,
be
this
doing
is-
it?
Oh,
Should I be
okay.
doing
Yeah.
it?
Yes, everyone should do it. It
Okay.
is okay. So
Julie.
Julie
artist
Cameron
way.
is she used to be married to Martin Scorsese. She wrote a book about 20 years ago called The Artist's Way. Any artist who or creative person who feels like there's an artist inside of you that needs a way to come out or a way to be birthed somehow, this book is absolutely for you. Or I can just paraphrase it for you in 2 minutes. What the book says is that if you want to unblock yourself creatively or unlock what's inside of you, all the gunk inside of you and what's unique about you, you have to implement 2 things in your life. One of them is an artist date. And that is where you treat yourself to something once a week that is purely to nurture the artist in you. And you do it unapologetically. If you want to go to a museum and walk around and look at paintings and take your kids and leave them with their grandparents, then you do that. Because by golly, you're an artist and you need to feed that part of yourself. If you want to sit there and binge the entire Star Wars trilogy because it means that much to you, then by golly, do it. If you want to go walk, through some neighborhood, that your childhood neighborhood, because to stir up memories, and that's what the artist in you wants to do, then do that. That's called an artist date. And don't apologize for it. Do it. Artist date. The second thing you do is morning pages. And this is really, really hard at first. But man, once you can do it, it really unlocks you creatively. So here's the rule. You get up in the morning, first thing in the morning, before you even brush your teeth, you get a number 2 pencil, you get 3 sheets of paper, and you just write. And you write, and you write, and you write. And you write with the understanding that no one's going to read what you say. No one's going to ever read it. So you can just say anything you want. I'm so mad at Ray right now. He gave me that funny look in rehearsal last night. Ray. It's okay. Ray's never going to see it.
Right.
It's just completely, it's personal. It's to you. It's like a journaling, but there's a catch, and this is really important. The rule is that while you're writing the morning pages, the pencil cannot stop. You are not allowed to stop that pencil from moving. So what that does is that at first, and that sounds really stupid, and it's really hard.
No, I get it. Yeah.
It is
And
very hard.
And what you'll do is, and what most of us do is so you'll literally write blah 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 blah. This is dumb. I hate Mike's rule. Mike's rule is really dumb. I just want coffee right now. I think I have to pee. It's just, but here's what happens, and is that around page 2, suddenly just things will start coming out of you, and you're like, where is this coming from? And it won't be, most of it will be crap. Most of what you just sort of vomit out of your subconscious, because that's what you're doing with that rule, is you're getting your own inner critic out of your way, because your inner critic is just going to shut you down, right? Is just going to be, that's the stupidest thing. You're not a lyricist. You're not supposed to be writing. What are you doing? You should be doing something else with your time. But with this rule, it gets that enemy out of your head. And so suddenly you're just writing, and most of it is nonsense. But I swear to you, you do it a couple times, and you will look back on those pages, and around page 2 or page 3, you will find the greatest lyric you've ever written in your entire life.
Right.
And it will be something that only could have come out of you. And you'll cry. You'll be like, oh my gosh, who wrote that? And it's you.
Yeah.
It's something that came out of you that only could have come out of you. And man, like there's no
power.
Yeah. It's because
no better way.
You got out of the way of yourself.
Yep.
Yeah.
You got out of your own way.
Yeah.
So it's twofold. It's getting out of your own way. The pencil can't stop, and I'm going on artist date, and you slowly open up what Julie Cameron calls the golden vein. And that's just the gunk in you that the artist, that the inner child in you. I mean, you were born this way. When you were a toddler and you just played with crayons, it was great. And this all came very naturally to you. But as adults, we go through school, and they tell us to color inside the lines and don't, and then it all goes to shit from there. But this method will unlock that inner child and get you writing songs.
Huh. Or lyrics or
lyrics. Yeah, lyrics for me.
Yeah.
And for us. And so
yeah.
to circle, go ahead.
Or if you're a architect and you're stuck, boom, you just don't keep it going, draw something else, boom, you come up with a design you never would have come up with because you ran through the doorway into the matrix.
Into the matrix.
You just found the other.
Exactly.
Yeah. As creatives, that's kind of what we're always up against is running into a roadblock or this is stupid. That's no good. That kind of a mentality. There's always going to be one side of your brain that's like, I want to make something cool. What are we going to do? And then the other side is, that sucks.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
And
yep.
It's hard to find the mix between the two, right?
Oh, yeah. That enemy, that has to be managed.
It's true.
For
sure. So Crayons, we'll play that real quick. And then, Dom, if you have to go, there's some other stuff I want to talk to Mike about that he's working on currently. And I'm sure Morning Papers has to do a lot with that. Real quick, though. Because I want to hear about the screenplay that you're. I want to talk about a little bit of that and go from there. But Crayons, anything else more to say about that? And my phone should not shut off now.
It was that from the lyrics derived from Morning Pages session?
Yeah, I think we used Morning Pages like techniques to get to them.
Yeah.
But I think ultimately, I think you're kind of dissing an ex.
Mm-hmm.
Is what is happening lyrically. Mm-hmm. Like something about hey dude, like you're not evolved enough to work with paintbrushes or graphite or working with acrylic paints. You're working with crayons, you dummy.
So this is another part of us collaborating.
Yeah.
And that works well for us as a couple collaborating together, is that I can have a feeling about something, but I'm not really good at writing it down and explaining it and being poetic with it.
Yeah.
I can come home from work and complain about something or talk about something that I'm feeling, and Mike has a way of just so eloquently putting it into words.
Yeah.
And it's just, so some of the stuff that is written is from a feeling that I've had that he has transcribed off of my feeling.
Yeah. Well, there's two things here. There's two things. The first is that you have the ability to talk about your feelings, but your feelings about previous relationships without junk getting in the way of that. That's kind of important. And and C, Mike will write some nonsense around it. He'll help you get through your thing.
Yeah.
With some nonsense and
it's so true.
Right. Do you need help thinking bad thoughts about your ex? Because I'm here. I'm here to help you do that, honey.
But with no
You're that guy.
Negative recourse. It's all
right.
None.
Right.
None at all.
Well, check this out. So this is a riff that goes to reggae, that goes to Mike's brain, and it's called Crayons. Here we go.
The way you looked at me, the way you stared, no surprise, your words threw me down the stairs. Life with you is like a life in space, fun to imagine till I'm floating with a frozen face. This little voice made an ass follow maps you made, better men made you afraid. The songs I do make a voice that sees me through. This is the band that I never had. I put my life in their hands. Find the spots, they get me to the mountain top. This little voice made an ass from a basket case. You won't draw heaven, crayons in your case. Beep, beep, away. The cars come our way. Check out the legs on the wine I'm pouring. Beep, beep, away. The hearse is moving. I'll survive either way. Beep, beep, away. The cars come our way. Check out the legs on the wine I'm pouring. Beep, beep, away. The hearse is moving. I'll survive either way. I'll survive either way. I'll survive
Yeah. So that's Crayons. That's Crayons.
Crayons in your face.
Crayons in your
case.
face.
good.
Check out the legs on the wild horses.
On the wine I'm pouring.
On the wine.
You know, the legs, when the wine
Oh,
drips
yeah.
down the side of the
Yeah.
glass, those are called legs.
Yeah, if on a red wine glass, if you swirl it, you get the legs.
Yeah, and it's the legs that trickle down. Mm-hmm.
Beautiful.
Hey.
And then
Hey.
what's the beep beep around? Beep beep around.
Beep, beep.
Beep beep when, so it's like a car.
Uh-huh.
Beep,
What is it?
when.
Beep beep when I gotta look at the lyrics. I think the
The
metaphor.
cars come our way. Beep, beep, when.
Beep beep when, yeah.
Hold on. I think it's like a metaphor for like I'm doing fine without you. I'm looking good. The cars are honking as they pass me, kind of thing. I don't know.
Yeah.
Like I'm doing so well. I'm rocking it so hard. The cars are honking at me, and not out of concern.
Or they're
just out of-
honking and I don't care because I'm rocking and
Right.
rolling on the beep beep rounds, right?
Yeah, they're honking in a celebratory way. Because people do that all the time in Atlanta. They'll just honk at you just because they like you.
Yeah.
Hey, you look like you're having a great day, and I'm going to honk at you just
Yeah.
to celebrate that with you.
Yeah.
Very common.
I mean, actually, what if the car horn was only to be used in celebration?
Oh man,
You know what I mean? Like,
man.
you're cute, mom.
dude.
Or like, hey, I just got a raise. Bah, bah, bah.
Right.
it wasn't never used in anger. If the car horn was never used in anger, would life in the city be better?
I don't know. I think people would still drive the way they drive.
Yeah, I see some crazy driving. Uh,
Yeah, it's frightening.
I saw some today. I'm like, dude, you're passing on the shoulder at 90. What are you doing?
Oh my gosh.
You know? And then
This
we
stuff,
all
yeah.
come to a standstill 300 feet ahead of that. I'm like, what was the point of all that? You know?
Yeah.
People are
He's
crazy.
just getting in front of.
It's all
Yeah,
NASCAR. It's all NASCAR. I got to get in front
That's
of
what it
that
is.
car and I'll win. We're all going to stop, but I'm going to be in front of that car. And it's going to be great. You know, it's crazy.
That's a really great idea that you just had. That's a great product idea for a car manufacturer, is to have, like, why not have two horns on a car? You know, one of those things is like, hey, it's positive. It's like, hey, and then the other one is like, not positive. It's,
Yeah, like a horn that's
something-
like da 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 da.
Yeah.
The melody of Crayons, and the other one is like,
right.
you're a jerk.
Right. That's
Like
a
a
good idea,
donkey.
man.
Hey, they totally have the ability to do that. I mean, a horn can
Well,
these
Jay
days.
Leno. Yeah, when I lived in LA, Jay Leno used to drive down Wilshire Boulevard with his, cars, his antique cars, and each one had a different horn sound, and he had these crazy melodies.
Yeah,
And you'd be lying in bed and here he comes.
Yeah.
You could hear it
yeah,
a mile away.
Yeah.
But he had them all programmed differently. It was
yeah.
fun.
Or
Yeah.
you don't want your horn to say things like verbally. But I think having a tone.
What if you could? Oh.
How about if we had horns that were minor, major, and diminished?
Mm.
You know, you could get a
Diminished
vibe.
horn.
You could get a vibe from whatever horn you were getting. You know, it's like,
That
dude.
could work.
So can we talk real quick about? I just watched a alien documentary that was really intriguing, and I'm like, whoa.
Like Hangar 19 kind of stuff?
No, it was Moment of Contact.
Okay.
James Fox.
Oh.
All right.
It's about rabbit hole. It's about a situation that happened in 1996 in Brazil, Varginha, Brazil, in 1996. Look it up. That's some
Okay.
crazy stuff. But the melody, the point of that is the melody of the Close Encounters of the Third Kind. I actually use it in the Giza show. Yeah.
Mhm.
Mike, theory-wise, what is that playing right there? Da, 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 da.
So, who's the tonic? So that's the 2, 2, 3. That's the 1.
That's haunting, right?
Yeah.
And it's very memorable. Since 76. When did that come out? Let's look it up.
76, I think.
Yeah, so it goes 2, 2, 3, 1, and then it goes down an octave. 1, 1, and then up a fifth. Yeah, that's it. Does that? I don't know if that was your question, but that's how it's structured.
Yeah.
It's all in a major scale.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay,
yeah.
so it's major. Why would it be so haunting sounding in a major scale? Or is it just the context of the show, the movie that it was involved with?
I think it's context.
Yeah.
Because those notes, just as they purely are, those are pretty. Those are pretty notes.
They're pretty happy tones, right?
Pretty happy notes.
Yeah.
Yeah, they are.
John Williams, get it, brother.
But when you hear it, it does sound haunting because of where
Right.
you heard it.
Ugh.
And it's
good.
interesting that you say that, because when I use that melody on the Giza Is Gone song, that song is minor and the last note never works. So I have to go and I have to change the last note because it doesn't work with my song. But the song is about UFOs, so I have to do it.
Right. Well, it's good. It's probably good from a copyright standpoint that you changed it by one note.
Well,
me and
Vanilla
you
Ice.
get sued.
Yeah, you're all good now.
Me and Vanilla Ice, right? We have to change that.
Right.
Dun 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 dun.
Yeah.
Done.
Right.
Yeah. Anyway, so Mike, we've talked about how we write together and that kind of thing, but you have one step further you want to go, and you've been writing a Broadway screenplay.
Yeah. Creatively, this is just purely me now. I have always, the songs that you love or the music that moves you, let's be honest. I mean, most of the time it's in the context of a story being told to you.
Yeah.
Right. That song, it was playing during that scene in the movie when the thing was happening, and you're like, oh my gosh, he's the father, and I don't know, or they're in love, or they're kissing, or the shark got her.
Yeah.
And that's what really brings the music to life to you, is that there's a meta association with it. You're associating it with something.
Yeah. Meta story.
That's right.
Yeah.
Last year I kind of went on this. I made a choice. I was like, you know what? I think I'm ready for I want to take a leap. I want to do something that kind of scares me a little bit in life.
As you should.
Right. And you remember, I mean, I read a bunch of books, and I did some thinking and some traveling, and did some soul searching. I was like, what's this leap going to be? And I, you know what it was is I watched, Masterclass. You got me Masterclass for Christmas. Man, it's amazing. Just the smartest, most successful people in the world just give you how their playbook.
Yep.
And they have one on there by Judd Apatow. Judd Apatow is the writer and director of such monstrous comedy hits as Knocked Up, 40-Year-Old Virgin, This Is 40, and others. Freaks and Geeks, that was his baby. He was the showrunner on Freaks and Geeks. And I swear to God, you guys, he was 30 seconds into his masterclass, and I was like, that's it. That's my leap. That's it. That's what I want to do. It was so clear to me that it was this is the next thing I want to do as a creative person. Because, and I'll use his words here, because comedy, I mean, golly, there's so much truth in comedy.
Yeah. That's what it's all about.
It really is. Isn't that what you're really striving for as an artist? Is I just want to tell the truth. And man, you watch Chris Rock do stand-up comedy and tell me that's not a guy laying down the truth about a lot of things. The things that most of us, we just can't even say those things out loud.
Yeah.
I mean, we would lose family members. We would lose friends. If you're a boss, you're going to get fired. If you're a CEO, you're going to get, your stock price will plummet. If you're a politician, you're going to get voted out of. You can't tell the truth. But artists can tell the truth, and humor is a great way to do it. So that's my why. So that launched me writing my first musical comedy, which is called Green Room. It's based on years and years and years of playing in weddings and corporate parties and bar mitzvahs and stuff, and just those great conversations that musicians have in the green room.
Yeah. Wow. I mean, if you ever, I'm a big Rogan guy, obviously. That's kind of probably why I'm doing this, but he says the very exact same thing. The reason that he is building a community of comedians in Austin is the hang. He calls it the hang. And the hang is all these like-minded people in a green room backstage getting ready to go on, just talking trash and cutting up and hanging out. And it sounds very similar to the same thing that you're saying there is, the green room there's a great shot in the green room of the Giza documentary that we're doing of you two. And we're in the back. You're in the show. I hope
Oh, really?
I hope it's okay with you guys. But yeah, so
what am I doing?
so you're actually asking, okay, so what is my cue to come on stage?
Oh, okay.
And Mike is asking, can I get anybody a drink, or he's bubbly and bouncing around,
Sounds
and
about right.
we're serious, going, okay, this is what's gonna happen, and we're gonna go on stage and we're gonna do this, and Mike's worried about getting food.
Right.
But
we
anyway,
getting fries? Can I get some ketchup?
Yeah, do you want Tabasco with that?
What kind of sauces do you have back there?
Yeah.
But that essentially is the green room, talking about, okay, on scene, if you're in a play, on the scene 2, act 2, scene 3, do I go stage left or right to enter stage? You should already know because we practice this, but is that the type of thing, or is it jokes?
It's a story. There's a story. I'm a nerd, so I read books, and I read books about how jokes are made and how all your favorite movies are kind of structured. There actually is a science behind all your favorite movies.
Yeah.
They're called beats. Story beats.
Yeah.
And so basically, Green Room is about two sisters, and they both are singers in a working band in Atlanta. So they're not famous. They do weddings and bar mitzvahs and things, and they're in the same band together. And one day they get an opportunity they get their big break in Hollywood. They get the opportunity to write and perform a song for a huge, big budget motion picture.
Yeah.
And it's a comedy. So of course everything just goes wrong and it's a mess.
Right.
And they're not ready for this opportunity. And they differ in opinion about how to approach it. And there's some tension between the sisters because they're so different. One of them is all about Hollywood and party life, and the other one is all about church life, and she's kind of naive. One of them kind of is the pretty sister. The other one is the talented sister, and it gets into all that stuff.
Let me guess which one.
Yeah.
Let's see. The pretty one is the Hollywood one, and then the other one is a little homely.
There it is. There it is.
Yeah.
And so it's a big mess. Nothing goes right. But well, I don't want to. I guess I shouldn't give away the ending.
Yeah,
right?
don't give
away.
My
first public. Yeah. Okay.
Don't give away the whole thing. But
yeah, but I try to it's a musical theater performance. So you actually go sit in a theater and watch this happen. And what I will say is the band who's playing on stage has lines, like they're in the story.
Oh wow!
So you've got a drummer, you've got a character. His name's Jared. He's the drummer in the band. So you're going to have a musician who's actually going to play drums, but then come down and have lines. So it's really, really mixed together. We're really trying to make it so that the actual act of being in a green room or being in a rehearsal room and creating music gets enmeshed into, funny jokes and good dialogue and just that snappy little banter that we all do with each other. Yeah. And those sick burns. Honestly, that you do in the green room that are so priceless. Yeah. And my hope is that, the story captures that and, but it's called Green Room and we hope to get it on stage in Atlanta just as soon as we can. We're working on it.
Hey, but don't as soon as we can. Take your time, get it where you want it to be without rushing it, and make it as, don't release the song until you're comfortable that it's all right, ready for showtime.
Right.
I like the idea of having the band, the banter that we actually had to have a conversation before coming on this podcast,
right?
Because Mike and I have a relationship.
I'm so nervous about this.
Yeah, we were so, I thought about it. I wasn't nervous about it. He was obviously nervous about it. So he was obviously scared that something was going to happen. But we have a banter that only he and I kind of know and everybody else deals with. And it's all in love, but it's all in just, cracking jokes with your brother, and just lifting each other up by knocking them down.
It's priceless.
Yeah.
It's like sick burns as a love language.
Yes. And not everybody understands it. that's
Yep.
what I have to kind of realize sometimes when you and I are in a different environment,
Yeah.
Like a Giza thing,
Yeah.
and you and I start going at each other, and my bandmates are going, do they hate each other?
Right.
Yeah, I
Right.
know.
You know?
I keep waiting for the day when one of you just loses it on
Yeah.
the other one.
It never will
No.
I
happen.
don't think it's gonna happen.
No, never will happen.
No. It's almost worse. It's almost it's to the point where it's uncomfortable
If you
when
don't.
hey Ray, I just you look great tonight, man.
Right.
You're doing great. I just want to let you know. Let me tell you that you're doing a great job.
Right. Then you start
That's
going like
creepy.
this. Wait a minute.
Yeah. That's a problem.
Is my outfit
Yeah.
okay?
Right.
What's wrong?
What is he saying?
Yeah.
Right.
If
Right.
you don't get the banter, if you don't get the little jab in the ribs, then you're
Right.
like, whoa, something's wrong, At the same time, you know, it literally is known that there's never ill will or there's never harm or ill will when I say, are you going to wear that on stage? Is that what you're wearing for real? Right? Like literally 2 seconds before we go on stage.
Oh, dude, we've had gigs where it's my favorite part of the gig.
Yeah.
Where it's like I don't care about the songs, I don't care about
Right.
the clothes.
I have a funny story.
Let's hear it.
Go.
Let's hear it.
Because I think it was the very first, or maybe the second Sweet Soul Sister gig you did with us, Ray. And I had
Cupcake
asked
was
if
number one.
everyone.
Cupcake was the first one.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I think I asked everyone to wear black, and you showed up with a green T-shirt.
I might have.
I was like, it wasn't brown,
Let
it
me
wasn't
see.
white,
Let me see.
it was bright green.
It doesn't follow instructions.
Yeah.
That's gonna be.
I remember
no.
that shirt. There might
Yeah.
have been a thought. So there might have been a thought in my mind that I always wear black or the black tie, the silver tie or red tie with Hope's Anchor.
Yeah,
I
love
wear
that look.
this with this band. I need, I wear this with this band.
Yeah.
I need to wear, and it might have just been comfortable. I don't know.
I mean, that makes a lot of sense.
Yeah.
I mean, look, look, Ray, if you ever feel like you missed the green shirt, there are like 9 YouTube videos that you wore it in. Just watch any of those. I think it totals up to about 9 hours of YouTube music videos, and you're wearing that same shirt.
Yeah.
And all of them, so that if you're feeling nostalgic and you miss it.
Well, I do miss it because I don't know where it is, and I'm a little now I'm distraught. But I love to hear that, Mike, that you're working on a passion project.
Thank you, man. It
it
feels good. It feels very, very right.
I totally know that feeling of you know what, I'm gonna do this. Left turn, Clyde.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm gonna do that. I can still do this, and this, but I'm gonna do that and get that done, and then I'll have this, and that.
Yeah.
Well,
So-
you're very fortunate to be surrounded with so many creative people that are
Yeah.
willing to make music with you, Ray.
Yeah.
You're so prolific, man. Your output.
When do you sleep?
I'm serious. Like you started doing this podcast a few weeks ago. What is this, episode
It's just
9,000?
One more thing.
I think
I'm
we're on
like,
26. Yeah.
Come on.
I say to Mike every week, I'm like, how does he do it? Where does he find the time?
Consistency. Consistent, bam. Every day, do something towards your craft. Almost like the morning papers, morning notes,
pages,
morning pages.
Yeah.
It's almost like that, but in a different way. My morning pages are my night pages.
We are his morning pages.
Yeah. Right now, you are actually my morning pages. Yeah.
Right.
So I do
He's vomiting on us.
Yeah.
Gross.
But my pencil hasn't stopped.
He hasn't. It really hasn't.
With you guys, for
Yes.
sure.
When is it?
It's never stopped. Well, you know what? That's actually a point that my pencil's not going to stop until it stops. I try to get everything written that I possibly can every day because I'm not guaranteed tomorrow.
Yeah.
and that's why I do what I do.
Dude, I think we just wrote the epitaph for your tombstone.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
His pencil never stopped.
Stop.
Right. Or we could be really, we could go really dark and say his pencil finally stopped.
Yes. I want that actually. I like that one better.
His pencil finally stopped?
Yes.
Is that it? That'll be the one.
He finally shut up.
Oh.
Yeah.
R.I.P.
Yeah.
with a number 2 pencil next to it.
Yeah.
Right.
Absolutely.
Amazing.
Yeah. He was the man.
It's inspiring to watch your inspiration.
Yep.
Does that make sense?
Thank you.
Yep.
It rubs off. I mean, it kind of rubs off. I'm not as, prolific.
Yeah.
We're not as prolific as you are.
Well, no,
you make us feel so bad about ourselves.
No,
you really do.
I'm gonna pull everybody.
Thanks a lot, Ray.
Let's go. I'm a coach by nature.
Yeah. That's true. That is true.
And not everybody can handle. Not everybody can handle that. As far as, let's go.
Mm-hmm,
let's go.
Mm-hmm.
But what
in the span of time that you've made 26. This is your 26th.
Yeah.
I mean, what have we done? I think we cleaned out the fridge.
But
that's all we've done.
Wow.
It's amazing.
No, it's astonishing how productive you are. It really is. It's inspiring, and it's true. It's like you don't know what tomorrow brings or doesn't bring.
Yeah.
You just have to live every moment while you have it to the fullest. But I get tired and I want to sit on the couch.
Yeah. But what are you actually getting? I get it. I do too. And I'll binge watch something.
Yep.
But I'll only do it in unproductive times. Like I'll binge watch something after the show tonight while this video and podcast is rendering.
I see.
See, that's a hack. That's a productivity hack.
Right
there. So I'll finish the show and everybody good night. I'll get it in the can. I'll put it in the thing. I'll cut the front and back, tighten it up, sync up the audio,
crop me
render.
out.
I'll crop you out, obviously, immediately.
It's
actually the first thing I'm going to do.
That's the shot right there.
But then I'll hit render, and I know it's going to do it overnight. Now I can watch something meaningless. All right, guys. Hey, I appreciate you coming on a literally 3-hour notice and doing this. And,
dude,
as always, so enjoy writing and playing music with you. I just want to do it more, and I've always said that I want to be more consistent. So
we love you, man. Ray Hems.
Thanks for having us,
Let's
Ray.
There's only one. There's only one.
No,
Ray Hems.
I'm the second.
All right.
All right, guys.
Thank you.
Love
We'll
you,
see you
man.
someday.
Thanks, guys. Have a good night.
See you, buddy.
Bye.
Bye.
You're watching the Original Music Podcast with your hosts Raymond Hems and Rick Gathman.